Hey there, podcast friends. I just got really sleepy.
Did you?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, let's start the list.
Okay, good call.
We're not sleeping right. We're probably not eating as the best as we could.
Whatever. I'm eating great.
We just did a show, so now it's the downtime after the storm of that.
Man, I got to stand up and fast. Today in the podcast, we talk about a trip to the store.
We do.
And the fact that you will be able to join us for an after show, post-show show.
Yeah, make sure you join us at RadioU Riot. That's our Facebook page. If you make sure to get notifications from the page once you follow it, that will then show you like, hey, the Riot's gone live. Or if you join us at our RadioU Facebook page, same thing there.
Yeah, so that'll be tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, depending on when you're listening to this.
Well, let's say that it will be Wednesday, April 8th. In the after show.
And if you're listening to this podcast after that, you can at least go to the page and watch it there anytime you want to.
Other things we talk about, free Taco Bell.
The part 2, the second time.
A church is closing. Resident Evil 3, Zoom, space news. Just because we got to break it up. Tiger King. Super Mario Legos.
There's an update on Carol. And Tiger King on Netflix has an update on an 8th episode.
All right. No more jogging in France. And what online casinos want you to do.
I think that might be my favorite.
Yeah. So I think that covers everything.
So please make sure you enjoy the podcast. We insist. You can also text us if you want to say hello. You text 877 to RadioU. That'll go to us in the studio. Put that you're a podcast listener. Say hello and what's your name, where you're listening from. And when we're in the studio next, we'll text you back.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. You guys have a great week.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the riot. On Radio U.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, in the middle of difficult circumstances, I have prevailed.
You have?
I bought toilet paper yesterday.
You did! Look at you!
Who knew?
Did you have a successful trip to the grocery store then?
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. Like, Nikki, I got us...
He brought a bag of stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about wanting to do an after-show this week, which we're going to do.
Yep.
And so that's just us eating.
Let's. It's not just that. It's the chance to spend a longer amount of time with you guys on Facebook.
Sure.
And that will be tomorrow after the show.
Guys, nobody's getting Easter candy this year. At least that seems to be the situation at the local grocer. Because
you mean there's just not a lot out, or is it gone already? Or
no, one, there's not a lot of people at the grocery store.
Yeah,
at which there wasn't. Two, no one has bought any Easter candy. Like the aisle was just overflowing, and everything's already marked down.
Oh, they're just trying to get rid of it. Yeah,
a ton of it was marked down 50%, and then the candy was marked down, I think, 25%.
Yeah,
and it's not Easter. Normally they're like, this is marked up 25% the week before Easter.
I think people aren't wanting to go.
I get it.
At least not yet. Did you get any cream eggs or Reese's?
Right, here's what we got. We got Peeps hot tamales.
Okay.
All right.
A fierce cinnamon. Is that what it says?
Yeah. All right. Sour watermelon. Peeps.
If anything, those look good. I mean, I love watermelon, but
okay. All right. Pancakes and syrup Peeps. I feel like we had these a few years ago.
I don't know. Again,
look, they're Peeps.
I can't remember.
None of them are good.
We'll eat them. It's fine.
Yeah, none of them are good. I got us a little...
nice.
Reese eggs. And then
where's our chocolate
Reese's...
bunnies? You know when you get a big chocolate bunny for Easter, where's our bunnies?
Sorry, Nikki. I also got these Reese's white peanut butter eggs.
Well, hello.
And I just want you to know,
I've
already decided that we're opening these this morning.
Nice.
And I don't care. Normally we wait, but I was like, when I bought them, I was like, let me tell you what, there's a lot in there.
Well, it's not like, again, we'll just do an after show tomorrow after the riot. Not right now. I'll have one after breakfast, but we will be taste testing all those Peeps and just doing another chance to hang out. We'll share a few more stories tomorrow on our Radio U or our Radio U Riot Facebook page. So success. You got stuff for that tomorrow.
Yeah, I feel great. And toilet paper.
Yay.
And like that right there was it. I got there, got to the toilet paper aisle. And at first you're like, there's tons. That's all paper towels.
You get excited at
because
first.
There isn't that. And then I got down and there were maybe 3 packages of toilet paper. I got the weird toilet paper math ones where it was like 12 rolls equals 180 rolls. And I was like, fine, whatever.
I'm buying it.
This isn't my brand. This isn't whatever. But like, I paid $23 for some block of toilet paper. I was just like, whatever. Just whatever.
These are strange times, aren't they?
They are.
They're strange times.
I actually thought, I was like, I wonder how much this costs. Doesn't matter. Just buy it. And when I got it up there, it was $23. I was like, man, that's a lot.
It's okay. It was mostly candy. No, it's actually probably for just only the toilet paper.
The toilet paper.
Just the toilet paper. And it's weird. I don't know if anybody else has experienced it, but we've bought just brands that you said we've never used of toilet paper, and I have one on the roll now, and I just look at it, I'm like, I don't even know you.
What is that?
I don't know what you are.
What are you?
But you're not our normal toilet paper. We don't like you.
At this point, you're just like,
I don't care.
I don't know who you are, but I'm kind of glad you're here.
I know, but you're just not the same.
It's true. It's so true.
Well, you had a successful trip yesterday.
It's happening, man. And I'm about to eat this Reese egg. These are good. I think.
Just say
I better
eggs.
taste them and make sure.
Just say it's eggs.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on Radio U.
I want to say hi to Tiffany, who texted us, sometime yesterday.
Yeah, she texted us yesterday evening. She's a podcast listener.
Yeah, she sent us video of a guy. He's another one of these people. Running a marathon in his backyard.
And you're like, well, what's the big deal? No, like literally just running the marathon, going back and forth in his backyard.
Oh,
I was telling her about the one guy who I feel like started it off in Spain. He ran a marathon on his...
It was his balcony.
Balcony, right? That's the word. Yeah, just a very small balcony, and he would just go back and forth.
We saw the guy in China.
Yeah.
He did it in his apartment.
He's a distance runner, so he's kind of known for that. Mm-hmm. And he did it just in going back and forth in his apartment.
Yeah. So here I can still go to the park, and I'm like, it's too hard.
I shouldn't. I probably should not.
So thanks a lot, Tiffany. She says that she's a loyal podcast listener since the quarantine.
Oh, yay! We got you.
I want to say hi to Randall. He's back at work today. He says that someone he knew was being tested, so he was quarantined until the test came back. But it must have come back negative. Or he's breaking the law. Jerome says the best use of Peeps is filling trash cans. I'm not entirely against what he's saying.
I know, but we'll do a Riot food fight with our after show tomorrow, and the Peeps work. It's Easter week. It's fine.
It's just, you do
it's
what
okay.
you do.
It's all right. I don't hate our plan for tomorrow.
Let's see. And Jeff sent us a photo of his candy stash, which looks good. He's got Dove chocolate, which is underrated, actually. That's some good stuff. Some Reese's eggs, and I hope
jelly beans.
Those are Starburst jelly beans and not just regular jelly beans.
Because Starburst ones are okay.
Yes, regular jelly beans
or
the
not.
Worst.
But these a little bit better.
Oh gosh, would you rather have a Peep or a jelly bean? Oh.
Yeah, it just depends.
Isn't that a hard question?
When
They're
jelly
both
beans,
not good.
Yeah, but when jelly beans have like a sharp, like very intense flavor.
Yeah.
Those I feel are better than just the everyday ones.
My thought is when I eat jelly beans, I'm like, man, this is how much.
I just want sugar.
This is how much food has changed. There was a time that you would have eaten these jelly beans and been like, they're so good.
They would have been a gift from the gods way back in the day.
And now we're like, man, our vegetables have more sugar than these jelly beans.
I just don't understand the texture and stuff. I think they're no good.
Oh, yeah, but the Starburst ones, though.
Well, that's what Jeff said he got, so
okay,
you guys
good.
are thinking on the same path.
Keep it up, Jeff.
Good choice.
Work.
Good work. Good choice.
I'm going to eat some jelly beans while I go on my marathon run this afternoon.
Oh, I don't think your stomach would feel so good.
I'm not doing it.
Oh, okay.
And by not doing it, I mean not the Starburst jelly beans. I mean the marathon run. I'm not doing that.
They even make morning people want to reach for the snooze button. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Listen, guys, we got to eat the meat. It's going bad. So don't let the meat go bad. Overheard at a Taco Bell meeting.
Oh, I was like, wait, I think meat is still in such high demand.
Taco Bell had free taco day. back in the day? A couple weeks ago? Was it a week ago? It was last week?
That was last week.
Well, they're having free taco day again.
Eric got a free taco during Taco Day. So.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
I love it, dude.
And he bought other stuff from Taco Bell, which is exactly what they wanted.
So it worked.
They'll get you in for one free taco and you'll leave with more.
So here's what's happening. They're doing another free giveaway of Doritos Locos Tacos.
That is today through the drive-thru because, you can't eat in the store.
So you just drive up and say, I want a free taco.
Free taco.
Free taco.
And you're good.
And they'll give you your free taco.
They say it's a comfort many of us are craving right now. And we want the ability to eat tacos in public together. But until then, you can take one home or eat in your car.
Okay. So Taco Bell says they're the comfort that we all crave, which is not true. But Nikki,
they say tacos are. They didn't say them. They said tacos.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, what has been in the middle of this?
Sushi.
Really?
Inside, just watching it all go by. Just as
so
they
you're
make
saying
it
you wish
and
that you were.
I just miss being inside the sushi place and just looking at all the choices and having some extra stuff, just a little bit here and there.
So do you go get some to-go sushi?
It's not the same. I want the experience.
Okay.
I just miss it. It's
all
fine.
Right. I feel like if there's anything in the middle of all of this that I find myself craving, and this, comfort food, French fries.
Yeah. Good choice. It's the salt.
Is it?
It is.
It's really weird because I keep just being like, I want some fries.
I think we're dehydrated. Because we're drinking a lot more soda and not as much water.
And then the other thing that I find myself wanting is pizza.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like, obviously, I always like pizza, but it's weird how much I think about it. Like, I should get a pizza tonight. Like, oh, no, there's just leftovers in the fridge. Go there.
Like, no, I want something new.
I need new pizza.
See, sushi is what I'm missing going out to be able to eat. But as far as, what makes me happier during this time of being at home, it's definitely fast food.
Just whatever fast food.
A hamburger, just something good.
Okay.
With fries as well and just a big soda.
Yeah, come on.
Big soda.
Big soda paid for all this. You know what? I went through the McDonald's drive-thru today and got a soda.
Nice.
Just wanted one.
Doesn't feel the same, though, does it? Than your
it's not my gas station soda.
It's not your gas station fountain drink, is it?
It's a sad stand-in.
There's nothing mixed about that one. You don't get to put all the different flavors in it that you want.
No. The only issue that I have with Taco Bell is, I feel like eating a taco. Like, you roll out of there and you're like, I think I got the corona. And it's just the side effects of eating a taco.
You're the only one who has side effects sometimes. Everybody else is fine. You're fine.
Everybody else?
Pretty much. You're fine.
That's because you black out and don't remember.
One taco's
That's
not
why.
Gonna make you sick.
For some reason, I'm able to stay awake and I recognize that everybody else eats a taco and they're like, I don't know, woke up the next day and I don't know what happened.
No, see, that doesn't happen with the one taco.
A bunch of broken windows.
That's how they get people in. They get you hooked on it. You're just
true.
one taco won't hurt me.
Pretty soon you're like, yeah, I'll take the $6 chalupa. I got a free taco. I can afford it.
That's when you start saying, I'll take the whole party pack for myself, that big box thing.
Listen, I'm self-isolating, but it doesn't mean I can't party.
You're right.
So
you bring that box back. Is this for everybody? Just for me. It's fine.
Yes.
And you lie to yourself saying you're going to have it for lunch the next day.
They call the police and the police follow you home. They're like, we heard there's a party here. We're here to break it up. And you're like,
you ordered enough food. You must be having a get-together.
Audience of one, bro.
Isn't that sad when they put in a lot of forks and napkins and stuff, and you're like, it's not for that many people. It's fine.
Yeah, thank you. I got a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah, it's just everybody sit down. We're gonna eat dinner.
How to survive the riot. Do the complete opposite of everything they say. You're listening to the Riot on Radio U.
Heads up. I know it's Easter week and. You go to church twice a year. You go Christmas and Easter. That's what people do, or so I'm told, right? But I want to let you know that the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is closed.
That is closed?
It hasn't. This is in Jerusalem, right?
Yeah.
It hasn't been closed since 1349 during the Black Plague.
No, it's fine. Things are fine. Things are no problem. I don't think that means anything. It's not. It's scarier sounding.
It's just a coincidence.
I know. It just happens to be the only other time that is closed down. That's fine.
It just goes to show you that kids these days and their vacations
will close for anything.
They'll just any excuse they get, they'll close it down.
I don't know what do they do an online service? Is that what I would have been watching? I don't think so. Is it just a place you go to visit?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, then I think we're fine for Sunday. So we'll pick another place.
Yeah. So just a heads up, that's closed.
That's it.
So since 1349, they haven't been closed in over 600 years.
But were they really? No, were they ever open?
But what do they mean by open? What are their hours?
What are they doing?
Are they 24/7? Like, what is it? I don't know.
It is weird going into Easter, like, if that was the time when you were encouraged to go on Sunday, and, now it's a different world now.
Like, down the street from me, they're like, hey, you can drive in. Like, and then I saw some other people that, everybody's like, watch us online, but I've been looking for the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the channel, and I can't
find it anywhere.
Maybe
it's on YouTube. I'm sure they have a channel.
I should probably do some more digging. But yeah, that just blows me away. Number one, the fact that anything that existed in 1349 is still around. That's kind of impressive.
You mean, or that's what it's been compared to.
And you're like, hey, could you pull what happened in 1427? Hang on, let me grab the book. Okay, here we go. Here's what we were doing on Tuesday, April 7th in 1427. I can let you know.
You're just fascinated by this stuff, aren't you?
I am. It's amazing. So just to let you know, if anybody's planning on doing that this weekend, they're closed.
Said no one listening. No one at all. I do know. No one is. No. What is the chance of that?
Well, yep. Just letting you know.
You have to find some other place to go.
Yeah, so if you were headed there, they're going to be closed.
But again, I don't think anybody was.
Church of the Holy Sepulchre is closed. Moose out front should have told you.
Who out front?
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
One day, a heroic time traveler will go back in time to make sure none of this ever happens. Until then, it's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
You come to me in, let's say, the middle of February of this year, and you want to talk about Zoom. I just assume that you're talking about a Flash villain.
Sounds like that.
Okay. That's what I assume that we're going to discuss.
We never use them for work. If anything, we would use, Google and their meeting stuff, but it was always there, I guess.
Zoom is all the hotness now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody's into it.
Take your classes on it. You hang out with your friends on it. Everything.
Unless you go to school in New York City. In New York City, they have just banned the use of Zoom in the education service.
So would that be till, we're talking up until high school or something? Or
no, all the way through.
All the way, even college classes?
Well, I mean, no, all the way through high school. So all public schools in New York City are no longer allowed to use Zoom.
If you think Zoom is a safe, secure environment, it's not, but it's like TikTok. You just
assume it is.
I think we all just know it's not. You just use it still.
Yeah. Well, that was actually my thought is I've got a Zoom meeting today and I'm like, oh yeah, I hope it's secure. I
think that's because you're in a meeting. It's not as important. Say you were younger and you were in
I get it.
A classroom setting and someone jumped on and just hijacked it and stuff. That is bad.
I totally get it. I do. But I don't know. That's just kind of my thing is oh, you want to hear what happened in this meeting? That I'm participating and I don't want to hear it.
Even I don't want to join the meeting.
I'm in this meeting I don't want to be a part of. Please, no, come in.
Please interrupt it. Make it so we don't have to do this anymore.
In fact, do me a favor. I want you to come to the meeting, take notes, and send them to me. Make it feel like I was actually there.
Please don't. They say that some of the biggest concerns are if you're publicly posting your meeting information,
right,
that people then like to take it and can just take over.
Which is exactly what schools were doing because, hey, we need to get this link to 24 different students. We'll just post it here. Oh, and thank you to Bob from the Lower East Side for joining and ruining everything.
And some of it's been pretty bad that they've jumped in on. So I think that's the concerns with it.
You get it. We all get it. We know what's wrong with people. What are you doing? But
why
in
do we have to ruin everything?
The other side of it is everybody's locked in and bored. So some people are just like, hey, elementary school kids, let's ruin their day.
Yeah, I think that is some of it.
Yeah. So, well, they're not using it anymore. They're now using something called Microsoft Teams, which
Microsoft spent some money. They're like, here, come use ours.
You think so?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, because it's not so much that Microsoft wants you to use it now. It's that they want to bring you into their whole infrastructure.
That's what you got to be worried about.
For a low cost. And their hope is like, you start using us now. They want to get you hooked on their stash so that when you go to college and then go out into life, you become a loyal Microsoft customer.
Well, there's also like Google Meet, and I mean, there's so many others. So if you don't want to use Zoom, there's others you can use.
Google Meet? Yeah. I don't think I've used that one. Have you? Mm-hmm. Is it fun?
No, I mean, it's still meetings.
Did you feel like your meetings are cooler because you're having it on Google Meet?
Listen, can we all just agree none of this is fun?
Well, I mean, some of it is.
None of it is.
Okay, all right, none of it.
No, I guess if you want to go hang out with your friends, but then that just makes you sad because you can't go hang out with your friends. Well, you have to do it in a meeting setting.
You do what you can.
But then you can at least count it towards work hours if you're using the same program.
Yeah, I
had a Zoom meeting.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the Riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Who's playing board games while they're stuck inside? Anybody? What if you had a Resident Evil 3 board game?
I don't know if that one feels right.
Would that change everything for you?
I don't know. Is that the best one we can pick during this time?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this, that it's headed to Kickstarter. They'd like to make a Resident Evil 3 board game.
Is it licensed then, or?
It must be.
Huh, I wonder why it needs a Kickstarter.
Well, they made a Resident Evil 2 board game. Created by Steam Forged Games, but they have it's one of those things where they have the license, but sometimes.
So basically, they're raising the money to pay for the licensing
and the game itself, I guess. So I'm looking for this. I'm looking at the Resident Evil 2 Kickstarter. The 3 Kickstarter will be at the end of this month, so that they can have another board game. But if you look at 2. If you wanted, you get the board game. It was £65. So what is that, like $90 US, something?
Yeah, about that probably.
Not great math, but it will work.
We just don't do well with that.
Yeah. And so you would play this game trying to escape the zombie. I don't know. I can tell you this. I'm playing Resident Evil 3, the game, like the remake that they put out last week. And I don't ever remember the Tyrant and or the Nemesis, whatever you want to call him. I don't ever remember him sucking this bad. He's the worst.
In the game, he's just
he's the worst.
Not as bad or not as scary, or?
No, he's terrible. You're like, I'm just trying to get to the subway station, and he's like, stars. Boom. And if you run away from him enough, then he throws out this tentacle at you, and you like trip, and he runs over, and then you're trying to dodge him, but you're not dodging him in time, so he punches you, and then you're like, I got away from him, and then he's like, woo, and he jumps, and he's all out in front of you again.
Wait, let me get my controller. It's like we're playing the game
Feels
right
like
now.
We're playing.
Yes, it does. I don't need to buy it now.
Though the other thing I did learn, and this was totally from cheating, because I was like, man, is anybody else having a hard time? So I Google it, and I found out that if you stand and fight him twice, at least the first time you encounter him, he'll give you extensions for your weapon. So I got an extended mag, and I also got a silencer / something. So that's great.
There's something. So it's on Kickstarter if you really like Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's there. So, or if you really like board games.
But remember, that's for Resident Evil 2, the board game.
Right, and 3, they're going to start their Kickstarter.
They'll start doing the third one over time, so.
And it's basically you just going, oh, man. Oh, man.
Not frustrated enough when you're playing the video game. Now you can have that same frustration with the board game.
Now you can lock it up behind a dice roll.
What was the one I saw yesterday? I sent it to you, but I don't remember. Is it Cards Against Humanity?
Yes.
They have a free version that is for everyone, but you can print it out.
Which is great.
Yeah, so I thought that was a clever way for them to provide something for people who are staying home.
Did you take a look at that?
I didn't like print it out or anything.
Okay. All right. Keith says the RE2 board game is cool, in stock at your favorite local game store in Mount Gilead. I always forget that he has a game store. Like, he's texted us before about that. Well, Keith, I hope you enjoy the Resident Evil 3 game as well.
If that gets correctly kickstarted.
And that the Nemesis doesn't take all the fun out for you.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Not to get too deep, but let's get deep for a minute. One of the biggest issues that I face in day-to-day life, aside from being super tired and not wanting to get up and...
the normal stuff.
That stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Like, in addition to all of that is that, you know what, I have a hard time just accepting love at all. I always feel like I need to earn it. So, like, I got to get to work on it. And that is, you know, it's funny because I look at it, I'm like, well, it's not all bad because, you know, it pushes you to work harder and do more. But the problem is that it often forces me to work harder and do more. And it puts a lot of strain on relationships because, think about this. What if, someday you don't do so good? Like, think about that. Like, one day you're doing really good and you're like, man, this is where I'm so great. I'm so great. And people are telling me that I'm so great. I'm so great. But what if you have a day where you're not doing so great? What if you have a day where you're loaded with mistakes? What if you have a day when the project doesn't get done? Or, you know, you don't get the A+, you obviously, like, what do you do with stuff like that? And it's something that even this morning that God and I have been talking about, and God keeps reminding me, is that he loves me because he's amazing. And because he's amazing, he sees how amazing I am. It's like a whole thing. But do you understand what I'm trying to say? That God's love for us, it's not conditional, okay? God's love for us is something that he just loves us. And for me, that's hard to accept. I think, well, he'll love me if I do a really good job at the radio station today. No, he just loves me. So even if I came in and gave you the worst show ever, you know, God would, and maybe we are, and God would still.
What's the maybe about?
What's this maybe?
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, like, here, hold my coffee. But, you know, God would love us anyway. And that's the thing that we've got to get a hold of. God's love for us is not conditional on how well we do or what we do or whatever. So listen, if you don't have a relationship with God, if you've never experienced his love, or maybe you have and you still, like me, get caught up in that, today, know that God's love for you has no strings attached to it. He just loves you. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus, get to know him for who he really is. And it's okay if you need to be reminded sometimes. I do. Say, Jesus, I want that. I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. Would you help me understand what it is to be loved? Would you help me to accept your love for me? And you know what? I've got a relationship with God, and that's something even I need today, right? So it's worth looking into, man. You are loved today. Look in the mirror, look in the eyes, stare back at you in the mirror. Say it. You are loved. I am loved.
You're basically listening to a real-time cringe compilation. This is The Riot on RadioU.
Man, there's just a never-ending string of websites that are standing by to sell you movies. But some of this stuff, like, you just think, okay, I've seen all the movies. Like, I know all of them. I know what's what. Like, I know. Man, and then you come across moviespree.com.
What is that?
It is a website. Okay,
I'll tell you. And just because we're saying it doesn't mean we think it's good.
Just to let you know, to try to keep up with kind of like Japanese sci-fi and action and all that stuff. There's this one RSS feed that I subscribe to. See, it's already getting nerdier. And I never go to their website, but I see their feed. And so they announced that the Ultraman movies are going on sale on this website. Now, I don't have a lot of history with Ultraman at all, but there's a series on Netflix called Ultraman that was pretty good. Like, I liked it. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to go check this out. Dude, this place has the craziest movies. Like, stuff. It's loaded with made-for-TV movies that you can buy.
Yeah.
So, but that's amazing. Like, because, you know, they don't even make those anymore.
Just stuff I don't know if this is stuff that's necessarily been even airing here in our country. This looks like a lot of international stuff.
It's international stuff, but they're trying to make it look like.
Well, don't buy on it. What are you going to buy?
Oh, I'm not buying anything.
Okay.
I like nothing. I don't want any of this.
There's $1 movie bundles. You can buy a bunch of stuff. So, that is all bad.
But some of this stuff it's crazy.
Sure.
It is crazy. And again, it's like foreign action films you've never heard of. And you're like, oh, I like those. No, not these. You don't like these.
Their binge-worthy TV section, I have not heard of one of these things.
I know.
It's just a lot of odd stuff, I guess.
I know. It's weird. So I'm just fascinated by, I always feel like, unless it's like, did anyone else hear that thunder?
We're having a rather strong storm come through.
Man. Movie Spree is calling down the thunder.
I know. You got to buy something.
It's weird. I'm not buying anything. And in fact, I'm getting out of here.
So you're not getting even the Ultra thing?
I didn't go there to buy it. I just went there to see what it looked like.
All right. Well, I'll just close out then.
Their servers are like, yay, someone's clicking.
Someone's coming here. Guys, you understand, with everybody staying at home, we're buying and watching things we never would watch and never would buy.
Yeah. So just be careful. Remember the rule. You're not allowed to buy during the riot.
During our riot hours?
No.
You have to wait until after. You have to think
because
it through.
After the riot, I'm like, why would I ever want this?
Now, is that the same for us, or can we go in and buy something?
No, us too.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
This is kind of a weird one. You think to yourself that the only thing that's happening in the world right now is coronavirus, right? Well, there are other things happening in government right now. I bet you didn't know this. Yesterday, President Trump, awesome.
I know who you're talking about.
President Trump signed an executive order establishing U.S. policy on the exploitation of off-Earth resources. Here's what it means, that Trump essentially made it legal. And there's precedent for this. Like there's some other things that Congress has done, but that companies can use off-Earth resources. So in other words, let's say SpaceX wants to go mine an asteroid.
Okay. So then they can?
As far as the United States is concerned, it is legal for them to do so. Let's say they want to go build a moon base and mine the moon for resources. As far as the United States is concerned, it is legal to do so. That just got signed yesterday.
All right.
Nobody's talking about it.
No one is.
Nobody.
I don't know if, even if there wasn't so much bad stuff, if we'd still be talking about it.
I'm telling you, I know.
Is this an Armageddon thing?
Well, actually, yeah.
Is that why this means a lot?
Well, no. The thing about it is, though, like think about this. We don't really go to space. Like we don't go to the moon. Like we maybe go into orbit. But if we had gone to the moon and they were like, this is really weird, it's made of diamonds.
Oh, sure.
We would have never stopped going to the moon, right? So that is, I mean, I've said it, and a lot of people smarter than I have said it, that once we find an economic reason to start going into space,
then we'll start going
changes
back.
Everything. Like right now, we're like, we have some extra money. Just kidding. We put it on our charge card to China. Let's go to the moon. Whee! But if we started to we went to the moon and we found gold. Lots of it.
So are you saying that what they signed yesterday means we might go try more to find a use for it all?
Way more likely.
Way more likely.
Way more likely. So again, is it going to be tomorrow? No. This is one of those little things that could have big implications later, or not.
Hey, look, Carl's interested. He wants the link.
Yeah.
He wants you to send it to him.
So
there's one person who wants to hear more about it.
You know what?
We're sending it to you.
Here comes that link. I just think
it's Chad who sent that in.
I just think it's interesting because we think there's nothing else happening. No one is talking about anything else, but policies are being made.
There's still things that go on.
Things are going on, even if, it's boring stuff that nobody cares about.
Well, you're welcome to text us 877 to RadioU, or if you go to RadioU.com, you can find us in the Riot section. Tomorrow, we're supposed to do an after show party on Facebook. So if you like our Facebook pages and then get notifications, you'll be all set for tomorrow. And we're going to hang out a little bit more after the show on Facebook with you.
Hey, Nikki, Chad wants you to know he's not Carl.
I know. I said I corrected.
I know, but he wants
me to know again.
Just
sorry, Chad.
I mean, you got a C and an A. You're practically there.
I thought I was almost there.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
So the mask thing is becoming more of a thing, right? Here's the thing. I got a couple of things. And I just want to be clear. I'm not a medical doctor, and I don't play one on television. So.
I think they know better than to come to us for stuff like that.
Okay, so people are wearing these cloth masks around.
Yes.
They offer this much protection.
Pretty much.
Zero protection against the coronavirus.
Depending on how they make it, but a lot of the at-home ones in general are not the same protection as an actual created, like a mask, yeah.
A bandana worn across your face with no additional anything doesn't help you. Against this, I mean, it can provide some protection from dust, allergies, but like the virus, no. Like it does not prevent the spread of viruses.
That is it's a statement that has everybody on different sides.
Yes, it's controversial. So
they're encouraging, and I think some people might just feel safer wearing it. I don't know.
Maybe we need to get a doctor on the phone and just be like, look, doc, talk to us. Real? Not real? What?
They're saying you're supposed to wear a mask, but it has to be a certain type of mask. So we talked yesterday on you can take furnace filters and take part of it out and add it to a bandana. Or you can someone texted me later in the show yesterday. It actually makes sense. It's those blue mechanic cloths. Those sort of things.
Yeah, sure.
Those are actually starting to become really popular and very hard to find because you can fashion a mask out of that and it actually will have even more protection. So there are things you can do to make homemade masks, but not everybody's making them in the exact way needed to wear out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's not a fashion statement, so I don't think it is.
It's not. But there's also that hey, everybody's wearing a mask. I got to get a mask. Even though this one doesn't do anything for me, I'm still going to wear it.
Sure, there is something to that. And people are supposed to state if it's a non-medical mask.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's that. And here's the other thing I got to ask you. I go to the park yesterday. I'm out running. People are wearing masks at the park.
Mm-hmm. When they're running?
Well, okay.
Or just walking around.
There are these two ladies walking around. I went to this place. It's like a 1.2 mile circle. So I'm running. And there are these two ladies wearing masks and rubber gloves. Mm-hmm. But they would not practice any social distancing with me. So I ended up having to basically run off the path out around them.
They wouldn't move.
They would not move. And so I'm just okay, first off, aren't we outside enough to where we don't need to wear the masks? Again, not a medical doctor. That was my thought. If you and I stayed 6 to 10 feet apart, do we need the masks? But what? You think you're some tank because you put a piece of cloth over your mouth? Come on.
I mean, the park is a different argument to it. You're not, and technically in different cities, we've been going to the park too much where not everybody's supposed to be.
I've seen it.
If you're going to hang out, that's one thing. If you're going to work out, that's another thing. So it depends on what you're going to go do there.
I don't know. I went running. I didn't wear a mask. So I saw some people walking around with masks on, but I thought it was just that moment of look, if you're going to wear a mask,
you have to distance.
You still have to do the distancing thing. What do you?
I think people just forget that out of habit, but that is the most important thing. You're supposed to physically distance yourself from others.
Well, I'm running and
that's why we're staying home
and physically distancing, and I don't know, whatever. It's fine. And I don't have a mask. I still don't have one.
Don't have one yet?
No. Well, you know what? I'm done. I went to the store yesterday and that's it. I'll bet I don't go back to the store for like 2 or 3 weeks. So there's nowhere else to go except for you and me, Nikki.
Yeah, we're in the studio together, and I would say we're 4 feet apart, maybe.
At this point, the only way this gets any worse is if Nikki just coughs in my open mouth. And you know what? Even that, I would
and
just...
we run that risk during allergy season anyway, so it's okay.
Truth be told, I don't know. But to everybody else,
I know.
I'm trying to keep my distance.
I think that's it. I think that's the way to put it.
I don't know.
All right, so that was the case yesterday at the park.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whatever. But I'll just stop there. I didn't have a point to all this. I'm just thinking it through. I'm thinking out loud.
Everybody's wondering the same things. We get a lot of different tell us of what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So it's good to talk it through.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
Steam is like Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, but for computers. Mm-hmm. And that's where I do most of my gaming. And over the weekend, they broke yet another record with, where's the number? 23.4 million people playing all at the same time.
That is so many people to think of. A lot of times you hear numbers from companies, but they're just telling you like users. They're not, but for this is everybody playing at the same time. How can they not, they have to have the infrastructure for that.
They call it concurrent players. Mm-hmm. So that was actually the record that was set a week and a half ago. This past weekend, they set a new record that's 24.5 million concurrent players.
Oh, so many people.
That's wild, man.
I felt going into this like Steam was down the last couple of years, or just not as talked about.
Well, you know what it has been is that if you play games on your computer, which I do, PC gaming has fractured a little bit because you have the Epic Games Store. So a lot of people buy computers just because they want to play Fortnite. They're like, hey, I want to play Fortnite with a mouse and keyboard. Mm-hmm. I have actually helped people build computers for that very reason. And that's an Epic Games Store thing. So like a lot of people...
They don't use Steam for that then?
No, you can only play it through Epic. And Steam, in some ways, you're like, oh, there's not as much there, but Steam is still there. And Microsoft has partnered up with them. You can buy Microsoft games on Steam now. EA has come back to Steam. You can still buy Ubisoft stuff there. So, I mean, like it has been a silent majority there for a while.
They basically said that during our quarantine, like our time at home, man, we're playing games and we're watching stuff.
Yeah.
And we're eating. That's the trifecta.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. And some we're more happy about than other parts of it.
Okay, real talk. Do you feel like we've been at this long enough? I feel like over the last couple of days, I've seen a change in people where they've adjusted to this a little bit more. And so I'm starting to see more people that are like doing stuff instead of just eating Doritos and playing games.
No, I think we're still
doing that?
Comfortably settled in what is making us happy right away.
Right.
Because some of us have been more isolated than others for longer. So it really depends on when you got on board that train and how well you're handling it.
Yeah. You know what, Nikki's right.
And it comes in waves. Like, I have a way better time during the weekday because we come out to do the show. But on the weekends, man, I'm lost in the land of ice cream. I'm just lost. Lost.
I don't know what to do.
And I don't know until I come back on Monday, and then you have a sense of a schedule again.
Yeah. So you're saying you're experiencing the quarantine life Saturdays and Sundays.
It hits hard on the weekends.
So do you think it's hitting you harder on the weekend and then on Monday? So what I'm saying is like it's fresh to you every weekend?
Pretty much. It hits every weekend.
Nikki, I'm trying to help you find a video game / ice cream excuse.
I tried. I downloaded the Roombo First Blood. Tried to get into that. I haven't gotten into Animal Crossing yet. I played in the past, but I just haven't felt ready for it yet. So I don't know. I got to find something. I've been trying to go through my Netflix shows and clean that up a bit, but even that.
I've been playing.
I don't start till like 10 o'clock at night to watch a show. I'm like, I got to go to bed. I got to go to bed. You're right. Mm-hmm. You do, because I don't know if you've noticed this. We're still getting up. I know. know.
Yeah, okay.
I don't understand.
Your friends are like, we were up till 4 o'clock binging whatever. And you're just like, I got up at 4 o'clock to do my job.
I don't know. But yeah, if you find a game, that would be helpful, I think.
Yeah, I started playing RE3 this weekend. That's nerve-wracking. But that was on Steam. I was one of those 24 million people.
You're one of the users there.
Sure does make me feel good to be a part of the crowd.
You're listening to a morning show hosted by two people who absolutely despise getting up in the morning.
Will you give me a break one time?
The Riot, Radio U.
It feels a little last week, which is in the middle of this thing, is the same as last year. That's
What do you mean? This just feels like it's been around forever?
Time is passing so slowly. Don't you think so? Is it just me?
No, I just don't feel like there's any time. Like there's no days. There's no separation. It's just one big month.
That's kind of what I mean, though. To me, that's what it feels like long, where you're like, I don't know what day it is because all days. All the time.
We're just not on the same schedules we were all used to and expecting to be on.
Yeah. So the Tiger King thing on Netflix, doesn't that feel so last week?
No, it's still...
You think people are still in it?
No, because Netflix is supposed to put an 8th episode out this week.
Okay, so was that the plan all along?
It's some sort of special, I'm putting air quotes up, special episode that was not expected because to everybody else who finished it was just 7 episodes. But they're supposed to be either later this week or first of next week, an 8th episode that just appears.
Wow.
You haven't watched anything of it yet?
No, I'm not watching it.
It took a couple episodes to get in, and I was like, oh, this is just whatever. And then you'll know the moment the weirdness starts. And you're like, wow, this is some weird stories.
Was it the throuple moment? Or is it past that?
No, it's even past that, believe it or not.
Okay.
It takes a little bit more time to get into. But for Netflix, it is the #1 streaming show right now. Tiger King still is. And it came out on March 20th. So,
right when we were getting stuck.
I know. And I think that and the lack of sports have really helped pick.
A lot of people looking for something to do without sports, man.
It is the most tweeted about show currently, too.
Sure.
So during everybody's quarantine, isolation, in-home time, Tiger King has been the thing to watch. So if you've been following the story of Joe Exotic, there's also the story of Carol Baskin in it.
And she's in Tiger King.
Yeah, she's in that. And the layer that when it really got odd was this point when they talk about her husband in the 90s has been missing since then.
Okay.
And some believe that she had a part to play in that.
Okay, can I pause for a minute?
Yeah.
Does she own tigers?
She has her own tiger place. Yeah, in Florida.
Yeah, the tigers ate him. That's it.
Well, that's what some people say. And so from this Netflix...
Never trust a pig farmer, guys.
From this Netflix thing, and Joe Exotic has now gone into, well, what about a look, like, why are we not going back and looking at her and where her husband is? So Investigation Discovery, which is a network, has said because of the success of Netflix with Tiger King, they're going to do a Carol Baskin limited series into the investigation of her and what did happen to her husband.
So, but she's free. And,
there was never any trouble for her.
Okay.
And they're bringing back the investigation, I believe.
Good.
But this is not on Netflix. This will be on Investigation Discovery.
And is that a channel?
I think it is. If
What
I
is
had
it?
to guess, I think it's one of the Discovery
is it a series?
channels. So it'll be a limited series on there.
So one Discovery Channel is not enough. We need 18 of them.
Well, they say that ID is the perfect place to find the sequel to this drama. Finding a missing hitman, a missing husband, a hitman, the illegal business of exotic animals, and they want to address the lingering questions that viewers are demanding to know.
So many questions.
So if you were like, I need more answers, well, Tiger King will have an 8th episode. And then supposedly this will dive more into the Carol Baskin part on another show.
Well, you know what? I'm acting all standoffish about it. I didn't do Tiger King. The true crime stuff, I've only gotten sucked into one of those. And that was the Serial podcast.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. And even at the beginning, I was like, I know where this goes. I know what's going to happen. And I know exactly how it's going to end. I know what the editorial is going to be at the end. Like, I know where this goes. And I was absolutely right. I was completely right about it. And yet the ride was really something.
But for this, it's so popular right now that Obi just doesn't do that when things are really popular. He just won't.
I'm the worst.
So he's done.
That's really popular? Oh, I hate it.
Well, I think people are just having an interesting time parroting it, and like people dress up for Tiger King dinners. All this, like it's a thing. It is a thing. That will be all Halloween is.
No.
Oh,
it won't be. There's too long. Between now and then,
no.
We're all going to be locked in our houses, and we're going to have found something. By next week, we're going to be on to something else.
I don't think so. I do think this will show up a lot during costume time.
We'll
if
see.
we get that again. I'm not sure.
We're not allowed to wear costumes anymore.
So that's an update. If you're a fan of that, there'll be a new series on a different network.
This year, mask parties are completely different than last year. It's going to be a big surgical mask party. 6 feet apart. Outside.
On Zoom, yeah.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, you realize, of course, that it's the year of Mario.
It is.
And that rumor is still out there that in June, they're going to announce some Mario remasters.
That'll be available for the Switch.
That's the rumor. It's only rumor now.
I'll take it.
So
that might as well be just the truth. I don't care.
Nikki's on board. 100%.
I just want Mario Galaxy. It's fine.
We also got an announcement, like a month or two ago, or maybe it was just 2 days ago. It all seems the same now. That there were going to be some Lego Mario figures.
Yeah, that was maybe a month or so ago. They talked about having a partnership between Nintendo and Legos, where Legos had a one-time deal. Was it with Pokemon? With another competitor, like not Legos themselves or something?
Right. I don't know.
But they really have never done a deal before. But this is supposed to be the first time.
Well, I now have details on those Legos.
Oh, man. Everybody wanted it to lead to Zelda having something.
That sounds good to me.
That seemed to be what everybody was the most excited about. Not necessarily what's the first round of Legos, but what can it open up to?
See, as a side note, I love the idea of licensed Legos, but they're too expensive. Like, I would have loved to have bought the Ecto-1 and the Ghostbusters Firehouse Lego sets, but they were too expensive.
I still wanted the Simpsons house, but man, that thing is even more than it used to be. They are expensive.
So here's what I have for you, Nikki. Coming August 1st, the Lego Nintendo sets. The starter course, $59.99.
Okay.
The Piranha Plant and Bowser packs, $29.99 for the Piranha Plant and $99.99 for the Bowser pack. The Bowser pack, if that's the one of him sitting on this throne, it is pretty cool.
That's the one you want?
But I guess that's not... Is it a throne or is he in a castle? You know what? I can't tell. But it's too much for me.
Do they have pricing or you just know it?
Well, no, I said $99.
Oh, $99? Well,
Yeah,
I mean, Legos, that's not the worst.
That's what I'm saying. It's
and we shouldn't feel that way. They are cute, though.
Sure they are.
They're very cute.
It's nice. You can have your Mario and play with him, too.
Now, am I wrong in saying this? They never had a Lego Nintendo, they never had a game that's been Legoed.
No.
But they also said that might lead to one of your Nintendo games having a Lego version.
It might.
Which people love or hate.
I played a couple of those Star Wars Lego games, and I can't remember if it was Avengers or just a Marvel one. Like, I played... and I played one of the Batman ones. I played a lot. But I just got to a point where I was like, I don't care.
You don't like them?
I'm Legoed out. I don't think these are that great. They seem super clever at first, but after a while, I just lost interest. But I never got a chance to play. It was Lego Universe or Legends. That actually looked kind of neat because it had so many different characters that you could get. But it was just... Again, it was too expensive. It was like, hey, we're doing this Lego thing, and if you want to get for $100, you can...
So for the Lego Super Mario, the starter kit one, that's actually just $60, and you can pre-order it, and it'll ship on August 1st.
Just $60.
Well, compared to the $100, it's not that... We have had more expensive Legos.
Nikki, I don't like to use strong language like this with you. But you're part of the problem.
Is that it? That's why they're charging these prices?
You're part of the problem.
Do you know why you're having not only Lego upcharges, but Nintendo upcharges and Mario stuff? So there's a lot of, you're buying a lot of names in this pack.
Two companies that don't discount anything ever have come together.
You are lucky this is only $60. It could be way worse.
That's true.
The whining, the loathing, the insightful commentary on postmodern historical doctrine. Okay, maybe not the last one. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
This just happening in France. They are no longer allowing daytime jogging.
Exercising, yeah. You can't be outside to exercise.
Between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. So, okay, what if you...
So if you wanted to go before 10 a.m., you could. And if you wanted to go after 10 p.m., you could go outside and work out.
I have 7 p.m.
Did you 7 p.m.
Yeah, okay.
7 p.m.
10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're trying to get people away from being out during the daytime.
So... Okay, this is interesting. We're banning jogging during the day, but you can still leave the house. Mm-hmm. This is what it says. Children must exceptionally be able to leave the home during the day. The same is true for animals. And so this is a quote from them, not me.
Yeah.
And so they're basically saying they are trying to allow people outside, but to force distancing. And so they're forcing the exercisers to move their exercise to the beginning or end of the day. Mm-hmm. So kids and people that are taking their dogs for walks can be out and they won't be constantly running into people who are exercising.
When we talked about it, I think it might have been yesterday, but one of our listeners was saying how I think it was her boss that's stuck in the UK. Yeah. And in the UK and in surrounding areas, they have a rule where you can only go out one time a day to exercise.
Right.
But dog walking does not count. And so people in those areas are borrowing dogs from other people so that they can go out and actually run more than one time during the day. Man. Or at least exercise. If they don't have a dog, they can go out.
Who are you that you're like, I got to get at least 2 runs in today?
Well, some people, like if you're training, or I don't know what the answer would be, but they're borrowing dogs. So and this is in France, that they don't want you to be out running, working out during those daytime hours.
Yeah, so 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. are non-working out hours.
But again, before or after, you are allowed to.
And I keep thinking about going back to running before the show, but man, once you break that habit, you don't want it back.
This is not the time to do that, okay?
I don't want it back.
I don't know if that's going to help with the stress and the anxiety that we're feeling. You might just have to wait until this all changes back a little bit.
I did that from August through like Christmas last year, and I felt so good. I felt so good.
We were talking this morning before the show about, remember when we used to go work out at the gym before the show? Not anymore. I mean, I miss the gym now, and I didn't respect it or appreciate it when I had it.
You didn't. You're right. Now, you abused it.
Now it's gone, and you
want it
to come back a little bit.
It's not coming back. Well, eventually, but not today.
I wonder when things come back, though, like how much will they be changed? Because it won't just go back like to normal.
Nikki, it won't be the items themselves. It will be us who have changed.
Thank you. That is so deep.
It will be us who have changed.
So for France, and again, you're like, well, that has nothing to do with us. These are all changes that they're making in different areas. And sometimes that picks up and that might become something that you have to deal with.
It's funny coming in to do the show. Nikki and I are on the road very early in the morning. Something that has changed about my morning commute. Mm-hmm. No runners.
No runners out.
I don't see anybody out running. And normally they're in this area where we drive through, they've got all these running clubs, and they got the little Tron vests on that they're running around.
Maybe they got in trouble because during the first week of the stay-at-home, I saw runners out when I was driving in, and they were not physically distancing.
Could be.
They were absolutely not. So maybe that changed.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that the last couple of mornings, I was like,
I know it's more quiet.
Where are the runners? Where have they all gone? Nope. Maybe they're doing what I've done. They found out the sleeping in's pretty great, too.
They want to do that instead.
The Riot Podcast. Radio U.
So, did you see the article that I posted there, or that I sent to you, Nikki, that is like, hey, if you keep playing video games, this is what you're going to end up looking like?
Is that the model one? It's like some sort of artist rendering?
Yeah.
I don't think they did you wrong. I think it's a bit much.
What? Okay.
I don't think that's what everybody's going to turn into looking like.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
People have been playing more video games. And here's what's been funny is there's always the video games are going to rot your brain stuff. Then there's been this like golden week of people saying like, playing video games inside during the quarantine is a good way to keep yourself happy and fun and whatever.
They basically said for everybody's mental well-being, like it's not a bad thing.
And now the backlash. Now I've seen several articles. The one that are like, people who play video games are more likely to be fat. That was one article. I didn't even click on it.
That's because we've been in spending at home time for quite a few weeks now. So it's turning into real.
Now, according to this article, and I'll tell you where it's from in a moment, the gamer lifestyle has all of these terrible effects potentially on the human body. Arthritis, bloodshot eyes, hairy ears.
What's that? Why are you getting that?
Why would you have hairy ears?
Is it from headphones? We wear headphones.
I wear headphones all day.
I know, it's all we wear.
Are my headphones giving me hairy ears?
No, okay. We need to Google search that after this because I want to make sure. There's no like we have to wear headphones.
Can I please see when you Google why do I have hairy ears?
I don't.
I get it.
Just want to know why are they saying that?
I want to see what else comes up when you Google that.
Do they think that if you're gaming, you're not taking care of your ears, even though who takes care of their ears like that?
Eczema.
Yeah, okay.
Swollen ankles.
Swollen ankles.
So these are all things. And so if you see the graphic rendering, they also say you'll have a hunched back, a permanent dent in your head where your headphones are. Man, again, Nikki and I wear headphones
all the time.
Not for 18 hours a day, but, a lot.
Yeah, several hours a day.
Yeah.
I mean, when the songs are playing, we don't have our headphones on, but when we're talking, we do.
Hunched back, obesity, PlayStation thumb, carpal tunnel syndrome, varicose veins, and on and on and on. And you're like, wow,
we're not scared.
So
we're not scared of all that.
This study and this rendering comes from onlinecasino.ca.
We're gambling with our health.
So if you gambled, you wouldn't have these problems.
Well, I've seen people at slot machines before. I also see the same body type that they're promoting.
You say so, Nikki.
I will say...
I feel like they're telling us that there's a healthier alternative and
gambling?
it can be found at the casino.
No, because they're all closed right now.
The online casino.
Well, then we're all still sitting there doing the same thing.
It's not the same. You're going to be jumping around as you win.
There's no difference.
Think of all the exercise you'll get as you jump around from winning.
That is an absolute lie.
You're so excited.
I will say the only thing out of that entire list is because we spend our time just at computers all day is we have to watch our posture.
Oh, that's the thing.
That is the only thing that will get you if it hasn't already. And then your posture leads to like carpal tunnel and all that stuff.
I'll tell you what, I finally got that lumbar pillow correctly on. Nikki got me a gamer chair.
Yeah.
Back in September, and I was like, I really don't think I have this thing right. Once you get it set right, fantastic.
Set it and forget it?
Set it and forget it, Nikki. I sat upright at my desk for hours.
Not to be like a downer on the gaming thing, but even if it's not just gaming, but if you're watching a lot of TV or if you're doing a lot of work in a unfamiliar place or a new chair, you have to make sure you're comfortable and sitting right so that doesn't bug you later.
All right. Well,
but for everything else, forget about it.
Well, I'm going to get a new chair. I'm going to win a ton of money on onlinecasino.ca. And when I win all that money, I'll be able to buy the recliner to watch TV in.
And that's
going to
really
give me
what
the
you
support
need.
that I need.
Okay, well, you have a plan at least.
Oh man, Nikki, you failed to plan. You plan to fail. And that's not going to be us.
Nope, we're going to come out of this better than ever.
Wow.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Stars! Boom!